I thought I had done all the research before my first Alaska cruise, but I still found out 6 things too late, things I only learned by going through the experience. In this video, I'll share each one so you can skip the stress, avoid rookie mistakes, and make your Alaska cruise even better. If you find any of these tips helpful, I'd really appreciate a quick like and a subscribe. Thank you so much, and let's get started. Tip number 1, the weather can make or break your cruise. I didn't choose the timing of our cruise. My group booked our cruise for July, and honestly, it turned out to be one of the best decisions we could have made. The weather was beautiful, the skies were clear, and none of our excursions were canceled. The scenery, glaciers, and mountains was absolutely breathtaking, and I enjoyed seeing the wildlife. Cruising during shoulder seasons like May or September may be cheaper, but you're rolling the dice with colder weather, and that can really affect visibility and animal sightings. Now that I've experienced it, I'd 100% choose summer again for the weather and overall experience. Tip number 2, port times matter a lot. Turns out, how much time you have in each port really affects what you can do. In Skagway, we had time for 2 excursions, which was amazing. But in Victoria, we were only docked for a short time at night. I visited Butchart Gardens, which was nice lit up. But I wish I'd had more time there, and ideally visit the gardens during the day. So here's the tip. Always check when you'll be in port and for how long before booking your cruise. It can dramatically impact your cruise experience. Tip number 3, booking through the cruise line equals peace of mind. I'll admit it, I was duped, but knowingly so. I knowingly paid more for my excursions by booking all of them through the cruise line, and I'm okay with that. Why? Because if a cruise booked excursion runs late, the ship waits for you. If you're on an independent tour and you're late, you're on your own. That peace of mind was worth the premium, especially as a first-time Alaska cruiser. I saved a lot of time and stress by not having to research my own excursions and book them through a third party. That said, now that I know the ports better, I can say that places like Skagway are easy to navigate on your own. The White Pass train depot, for example, is just a 10 to 15-minute walk from the ship. You can save around $80 by booking directly, but you'll need to book early to get the departure time you want and need. So this excursion would have been easy to do on my own, and I ended up paying a little more. If it's your first cruise, I'd only recommend booking your own excursions if they start within walking distance of your ship. It's an easier and safer way to save some money the first time around. For excursions that involve a long drive, I say pay the premium and let the cruise line handle everything. It'll save you a lot of time and stress. Tip number 4, the season does matter for packing. Everyone says pack cool and warm layers, and they're right. But what no one told me is that you should adapt your packing by season. You will need less warmer layers for summer and more light layers. The season does make a difference. During my summer cruise in July, the mornings were chilly, definitely sweater weather, but the days warmed up very quickly and afternoons were warm and sunny enough for long sleeve t-shirts, pants, or even shorts, and a sun hat. We lucked out with no rain, but that's very rare. Alaska is a rainforest, and Ketchikan alone gets rain over 200 days a year. So pack for sun, wind, cold, and rain, but you may not need those earmuffs or those warm gloves during your summer cruise. If you're wondering what I actually wore versus what I packed during my summer Alaska cruise in July, check out this video, which is currently going mini viral for my channel size. To learn about all the essentials you'll need to pack by season, no matter what season you're traveling to Alaska, watch this packing video here. I'll link both videos in the description below. Tip number 5, don't book an early flight on disembarkation day. We were scheduled to disembark in Seattle at 7 a.m., but there was a port workers' strike that morning. This ended up delaying disembarkation for a while. Luckily, I booked a late afternoon flight, so no stress. But other passengers with a morning flight were likely worried, and they may have been too late to make their flight. So here's the tip, don't cut it close. Fly out later or even stay an extra night if you're flying a long distance to avoid any unexpected delays. It's at least an option to think about. Tip number 6, don't fly in on embarkation day. I'm so glad I didn't book my flight for the first day of the cruise, even though I lived just a short flight from Seattle. My flight was supposed to arrive late morning in Seattle, but it got canceled weeks before the cruise. My only option was to get bumped to an afternoon flight or change airlines. Because I was booked to fly the day before my departure, this didn't affect my trip or my plans. I was able to take the later flight. So take it from me, always fly in at least one day early for your Alaska cruise. Cruisers who live further away sometimes even come in a couple days early to Seattle so they can start adjusting to the time zone change. Flight delays, cancellations, and weather issues happen all the time. Missing your ship's departure is not worth the risk. What questions do you have about cruising Alaska? Do you have a tip for other cruisers? Ask me in the comments below. I read and respond to each one.